It's our 15th wedding anniversary, and the house is filled with the warm scent of roses and vanilla candles. I thought I knew every corner of my life with her, every smile, every sigh, but today, something changes. While unpacking the small gifts she had left on the dining table, my hand brushes against an envelope I've never seen before. It's tucked behind the silver-framed photograph of our wedding day, as if it had been waiting for this exact moment. The envelope is plain cream-colored and slightly worn at the edges. My heart skips a beat when I notice my name written on it in a delicate looping handwriting. It's familiar, yet strangely different, almost like a ghost of someone I used to know. I hesitate. Should I open it now in front of her with the candles flickering and the soft strains of our anniversary playlist in the background? The weight of curiosity is unbearable. I tear it open. Inside, there's a single sheet of paper and a photograph. The photograph shows a young woman sitting on a bench in a sunlit park, her eyes looking directly into the camera. It's unmistakably her, my wife, but not quite. Her hair is a different color. Her expression more guarded, almost fearful. My mind reels. How can this be the same woman I've shared 15 years of laughter, arguments, and midnight whispers with? I feel a pang of betrayal, sharp and sudden. All these years I believed I knew her completely, trusted every story, every memory she shared. And yet here is proof of a past I never glimpsed, of a life she chose not to tell me. My fingers tremble as I trace the edge of the photograph, trying to reconcile the image with the woman who now stands quietly in the kitchen, pretending to sip her wine. The letter itself is brief, but every word is loaded with intention. There are truths you are not yet ready to hear. It reads, "If you wish to know, follow the directions carefully." Directions? My pulse quickens. Why is this being left for me now on our anniversary, when everything else in our life suggests contentment and love? My stomach knots. This is not just a gift. It's a key, a door to a secret that has waited years to reveal itself. I glance at her across the soft glow of candlelight. She smiles, gentle and warm, unaware, or pretending to be unaware of the storm I suddenly feel brewing inside me. My mind races through possibilities. A hidden family, a long-lost friend, maybe even danger. I can feel the ordinary calm of this evening slipping away, replaced by a mixture of anticipation and dread. I place the envelope on the table between us, as if it were a fragile artifact. "I found this," I say softly, keeping my voice steady even as my hands shake. She pauses, her eyes flickering just a little. Not fear, not guilt, but something unreadable. Silence hangs heavy, stretching the space between us like a taut wire. I decide to open the letter, fully pulling the photograph carefully from its sleeve. The paper is textured, the ink slightly faded, suggesting age. Every sentence I read feels like a small revelation, a whisper from the past that intrudes upon our present. It speaks of someone she knew long before me, a life shaped by choices I never understood and promises that were never kept. As I sit there, the photograph resting against my palm, a single question hammers through my mind. Why now? Why reveal this past on our anniversary after 15 years of marriage, when everything seems settled? There's a tension in my chest, a subtle, almost imperceptible unease that tells me this is only the beginning. I place the letter back on the table and look at her again. She doesn't speak. Her smile remains soft and serene, but I know there's something lurking beneath it. A secret long buried, now reaching out to touch the life we built together. And somehow, I feel it already. This one moment, this single envelope will change everything. I take a deep breath, steadying myself, and whisper almost to myself, "And that was only the beginning." I stare at the envelope again, my eyes tracing each curve of the letters forming my name. There's something familiar about the handwriting. It's delicate, flowing, almost nostalgic, but I can't quite place it. It's not hers. Or is it? I remember the letters she used to write me early in our courtship, the tiny loops in her Y's, the flourish at the end of an R. But this is different, older, more deliberate, as though someone had honed it in secrecy for years. My hands tremble as I lift the sheet of paper again. The ink is slightly faded and the paper has a subtle texture, like something bought from an old stationery shop. A whisper of perfume clings faintly to it, a floral scent I recognize but can't immediately identify. It hits me. This is her touch, or at least a trace of her. My pulse quickens. Could this handwriting be a bridge to the life she kept hidden from me all these years? I set the letter on the table and glance at her. She's across the room, pretending to check something on her phone, unaware, or carefully avoiding the truth that hangs heavy in the air. Her presence is both comforting and terrifying, like a warm light hiding a shadowed figure. I feel an urgent need to know, yet I hesitate. The handwriting alone is a clue, a breadcrumb in a maze of secrets, and I wonder how many more I'll find. The photograph from the envelope catches my eye again. I pick it up, comparing it carefully with her face in the present. The young woman in the picture shares her eyes, the same hazel depth that drew me to her 15 years ago. But the expression, the guarded, almost haunted expression, is unrecognizable. I realize that the handwriting and this photograph together form a puzzle, a coded message from her past that I am meant to solve. I feel a chill run down my spine. Why now? Why leave this for me today, on our anniversary? I can't shake the feeling that she intended for me to find it, that the timing is deliberate. Something in my chest tightens, a sense of betrayal mingled with the thrill of discovery. I lean back in my chair and study the curves and loops of the handwriting, trying to memorize its rhythm to feel the person behind it. And then it hits me. I've seen this style somewhere before. Years ago, before I met her, there was a letter I found tucked into an old book at my parents' house. It was from a woman claiming to know my future. I'd laughed it off at the time, dismissing it as nonsense. But now, could this be the same hand? Could the woman who wrote that letter be my wife or someone connected to her? The room feels smaller, tighter, as if the walls themselves are leaning in to witness my discovery. I notice the soft ticking of the wall clock each second, pounding like a drumbeat in my chest. The ordinary sound of time passing now seems ominous, a countdown to revelation. I can't help but wonder, what else has she hidden? What truths are still waiting just beyond my reach? I carefully place the photograph on the envelope and pick up the letter again. I trace each letter with my fingertip, trying to feel the subtle indentations of the pen, searching for a personal trace of her presence. My mind races with possibilities. A past life she kept secret, an old love, a dangerous mistake, or even something darker I can't yet imagine. The candlelight flickers, and for a brief moment, the shadows make the photograph appear almost alive, as if the young woman's eyes are watching me, urging me to uncover what has been kept from me for so long. I swallow hard, my throat dry, and whisper to myself, "What did you leave for me to find?" I realize that this handwriting, this photograph, this envelope, they are not mere objects. They are keys to a hidden world that I've never seen, a past that my wife never shared, and perhaps a future I am unprepared for. Every instinct in me screams that once I step through this door, there will be no turning back. I look at her again, her face calm, her eyes betraying nothing. But I know deep down that the handwriting is a silent message, a bridge from her past to my present. And as I sit there, the envelope trembling in my hands, I feel a creeping sense of both dread and anticipation. This is only the first step, and somehow I already know the secrets she has kept will change everything. I take a deep breath, steadying myself, and mutter under my breath. And that was only the beginning. I pick up the photograph again, turning it over in my hands. The young woman sitting on the bench. It's undeniably her, yet also not her. The sunlight in the picture casts sharp shadows across her face, highlighting an expression I've never seen before, wary, almost defiant, as if she were guarding herself from something or someone. My pulse quickens. Every line on her face tells a story I wasn't supposed to know. The park in the background is unfamiliar. The trees, the wrought iron benches, the distant fountain, they don't match anywhere I've seen her walk. And yet the way she holds herself, the tilt of her head, the way her fingers curl around the edge of the bench, it's all her. But why? Why has she never spoken of this life? I sit back in my chair, my eyes flicking between the photograph and my wife, who is humming softly in the kitchen. She doesn't notice me staring, or maybe she does, and she's intentionally letting me stew in the mystery. The photograph is small, yet it feels heavy in my hands, as though it carries decades of hidden truths. I notice a detail that makes my heart skip: a thin bracelet on her wrist, delicate, almost fragile looking, but engraved with initials. I know those initials. I've seen them before in a jewelry box that was supposed to be her mother's, but this is different. The engraving is sharper, more deliberate, almost like a secret signature. My mind spins. Could it be a gift from someone she wanted me never to know? A sudden knock at the door makes me start. I glance up, half expecting a delivery, half expecting someone from her past. But it's nothing. Just the postman dropping off a plain envelope. I pick it up and notice the same looping handwriting as the photograph's letter. My stomach twists. Someone, maybe even her, wants me to follow this trail, and whatever I find, I suspect it won't be easy. I set the photograph carefully on the table. I can't stop thinking about the girl in the picture, her eyes so alive yet cautious, her lips slightly parted as if she had something to say but held it back. The resemblance to my wife is undeniable, but there's a subtle difference in the aura. She gives off a shadow of a life she left behind hidden from me. I realize that I'm holding not just a photograph, but a piece of a puzzle, a fragment of a narrative she never shared. And every instinct in me says that if I put the pieces together, the truth will shake everything I thought I knew about her. The ordinary moment of our anniversary is gone, replaced by something almost unbearable. The creeping awareness that my wife has lived a life I don't understand, and maybe I was never meant to. I study the photograph under the soft candlelight, noticing the smallest details, the slight crease in her dress, the way the wind lifted a strand of hair across her forehead, the faint shadow behind her on the bench. Each detail feels intentional, as if whoever sent this wanted me to notice them, to feel the weight of her secrets. I lean closer, my breath fogging the glass of the frame. I trace the outline of her face with my fingertip, trying to memorize it, trying to feel the life behind it. And in that moment, a single thought strikes me with full force. What if this is only the beginning? What if there are layers to her past, truths so deep and dangerous that I could never have imagined them? I glance at her again, standing in the kitchen, serene, oblivious, or expertly composed. My hands tremble as I fold the photograph back into its envelope. The tension in the room is palpable, as though the air itself is waiting for the next revelation. I take a deep breath, steadying myself, and whisper under my breath. And that was only the beginning. I sit alone in the living room, the letter and photograph spread before me like a silent testimony. 15 years of marriage, and yet I feel as though I've known her for only half that time. The quiet hum of the refrigerator, the soft ticking of the clock on the wall, they sound almost accusatory. 15 years, and she has kept this from me. 3 years, perhaps more, of silence I never questioned until now. I try to recall the last time she spoke of her past. Nothing comes to mind. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. She always diverted conversations to family friends or mundane stories about work. Never once did she mention this hidden chapter of her life. And now here it is, laid bare by a simple envelope and a photograph. The betrayal gnaws at me, sharp and persistent. Was she hiding it to protect me, or was it fear? Fear that I would reject her if I knew I cannot tell. My mind churns with questions. Why did she choose this moment, our anniversary, to reveal the first clue? Why now? What has she been protecting herself from, or me from? I pick up the photograph again, staring at her young face, the wary eyes staring back at me. There's a tension in her gaze that feels almost alive, like a shadow lingering between her past and present. I realize the 3 years of silence were not empty. They were deliberate, carefully constructed to conceal a life I had no right to see. Until now. The envelope trembles under my fingertips as I lift it once more. I notice small details I hadn't seen before, the corners slightly worn, the ink fading unevenly, almost as though it had been carried folded and cherished in secrecy. It's intimate, personal, and yet it feels distant, like a lifeline thrown across a gulf I never knew existed. I think back to our conversations, the quiet moments where she would pause, her eyes flickering ever so slightly, almost as if she were remembering someone else. At the time, I thought it was nothing, just a fleeting memory, but now I realize those pauses were cracked, small fissures in the surface of the life she showed me, through which her hidden past peeked out. I rise and pace the room, the photograph and letter clutched in my hand. Every familiar corner of the house feels different tonight, charged with uncertainty. The cozy warmth of our anniversary candles now feels like a stage set for revelations. The laughter, the comfort, the security I thought we shared, all of it, feels fragile, suspended over the unknown. The 3 years of silence suddenly feel like an ocean between us, one I never noticed because I trusted her completely. But trust, I now understand, is a fragile thing when secrets are involved. And as I stare at the photograph one last time before setting it down, I wonder how many other truths lie hidden, waiting for the right moment to surface. I hear her footsteps approaching, soft and deliberate. She doesn't ask what I'm doing. She doesn't explain. She simply passes a smile on her lips, her perfume lingering faintly in the air. And in that moment, the weight of the silence feels almost suffocating, pressing against my chest. I sink into the chair, gripping the envelope tightly, my mind racing with scenarios, old friends, dangerous mistakes, lost, loves, threats I cannot yet imagine. The past she has shown me is not gone. It has been waiting, silent and patient, for me to discover it. I exhale slowly, the tension coiling in my chest easing just enough to breathe. And as I look at the photograph one last time, I whisper almost as a promise to myself. And that was only the beginning. I unfold the letter again, the creases softening under my fingertips. My eyes land on a string of words I hadn't noticed before, an address written in tiny, precise letters at the bottom of the page. It's unfamiliar, a small town hundreds of miles away, somewhere I've never been. My heart beats faster. This is no longer just a memory from the past. It's a trail, a map leading me to her hidden life. The handwriting is the same as before, delicate, deliberate, almost hypnotic in its consistency. It feels personal, intimate, as though she wanted me to find it, to follow it, but only if I were truly ready. My pulse quickens at the thought what awaits me there. Old friends, enemies, or perhaps a part of her she thought I would never understand. I glance at my wife still humming in the kitchen, moving with that serene grace I have trusted for 15 years. How much of this is hers to reveal, and how much has been orchestrated, designed for me to uncover? Slowly, deliberately, I feel a mixture of excitement and dread, the thrill of discovery tangled with the fear of what I might find. I pull out a map and mark the address. The town is small, almost hidden from the usual tourist guides, and yet somehow familiar, like a memory hovering just outside reach. I imagine walking down the cobblestone streets searching for a life she once lived in secret, a life that may have shaped the woman I married without me knowing her fully. I notice a faint symbol drawn next to the address, a small star etched carefully, almost as if pointing me toward something significant. It's subtle, easy to overlook, but I see it clearly now, its quiet insistence echoing in my chest. Someone wanted me to notice this. Someone, perhaps her, wanted me to understand the importance of this place. My mind races. Should I confront her first? Ask her to explain why this address exists? Or should I follow it blindly, trusting only the trail left behind in her handwriting, the thought of traveling to a town I've never visited, guided by clues from a life she never shared, both terrifies and excites me. I pick up the photograph again, comparing her young face with the one I see now. The guarded expression in the picture seems to intensify, as if daring me to step into her past to uncover the hidden truths. I can almost feel the eyes of the young woman in the photograph watching me, waiting for me to take the first step. I glance at the envelope one last time, running my fingers over the paper. The texture, the ink, the subtle perfume lingering on it, they all whisper secrets I've never heard, promises I've never been given. And now, with the address staring back at me, I realize this is more than a mystery. It is a journey. A journey into the life she kept secret for 15 years. I close my eyes, taking a deep breath to steady the rush of adrenaline and fear. This is no longer hypothetical. The hidden address is a doorway, a challenge, and perhaps a warning. Whatever awaits me there, I know it will change everything I thought I knew about my wife and about us. I open my eyes and whisper softly, almost as a vow. And that was only the beginning. The quiet of the evening is broken by a knock on the door, sharp, deliberate, almost rhythmic, echoing through the house. I freeze, my hand still clutching the letter and photograph. Who could it be at this hour? Friend's delivery? Or someone from her past? My pulse races. The envelope, the photograph, the hidden address, all of it feels like it has been leading to this exact moment. I open the door slowly, the hinges creaking like a warning. On the porch stands a woman, tall and composed, with eyes that seem to pierce through me. She's unfamiliar, yet there's something in her gaze, a knowing glint that makes me pause. I believe we need to talk, she says, her voice calm, almost soothing, yet carrying a weight that sends a shiver down my spine. I invite her in, though. My mind screams caution. She carries herself with confidence, as if she belongs here, as if she's been expecting me. And then I notice a subtle detail, a small pendant around her neck engraved with the same initials on my wife's bracelet, the same ones I noticed in the photograph. My heart thunders. This isn't a coincidence. She sits across from me, her posture perfect, hands folded neatly in her lap. I've known your wife for a long time. She begins, her eyes flicking to the photograph and the envelope on the table. Long before you met her, there are things you need to know, things she could not tell you herself. I feel a mix of fear and anticipation. My mind races with possibilities: ally or threat, friend or betrayer. Every instinct tells me to listen carefully, but every nerve in my body screams caution. Who is this woman, and why now? Why does she appear here at this precise moment when the veil of secrets has just begun to lift? She reaches into her bag and pulls out a small stack of photographs, older, yellowed at the edges like artifacts from another life. She spreads them across the table. My eyes widen. They show my wife in situations I cannot begin to recognize, laughing with strangers, signing documents, even in tense confrontations. Each photograph tells a story, each glance a hint of hidden truth. "I know you're confused," the woman says softly, "and I know you feel betrayed. But please trust me when I say that these secrets, they were never meant to hurt you. They were meant to protect you both." Her eyes meet mine, steady and unwavering, but there's an undercurrent of urgency I cannot ignore. I glance toward the kitchen where my wife is now watching silently, pretending not to notice the visitor or the photographs. Her calm exterior seems to hold a hidden tension, a secret struggle I cannot decipher. It is as if she's daring me to uncover the truth, daring me to cross the line into a past she has carefully concealed. The visitor leans closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Some truths are dangerous," she warns. "Some people from her past are still watching, and not all of them wish you well." My stomach twists. Danger, betrayal, hidden enemies. This goes beyond photographs, letters, or addresses. This is a world I've never seen, a world my wife has shielded me from for 15 years. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my racing thoughts. I feel the weight of every secret, every silent year pressing down on me. And yet beneath the fear, a spark of determination ignites. I need to know. I need to understand. I need to see the life she kept hidden and perhaps survive it. The woman gathers her photographs, her eyes locking on mine one final time. "Follow the clues," she says, nodding toward the envelope in the photograph. "But be careful. Not everything is as it seems. And remember," she pauses, letting the words hang in the air like a warning, "that was only the beginning." Later that night, after the visitor has left, I can't sleep. The envelope and photographs lie on the table, a silent challenge that my mind cannot ignore. My eyes wander to the bookshelf in the corner, a place she's always kept meticulously neat. Something draws me there, an instinct I cannot name. My fingers brush along the spines of her books, and then hidden behind a row of old leather-bound novels, I find it a small, worn diary. The cover is faded, the leather cracked at the edges. Her initials are embossed faintly in gold on the front. My breath catches. Could this be it, a record of the life she has never shared, the thoughts she kept secret even from me? I pull it out carefully, feeling its weight, feeling as if I am holding a piece of her very soul. I open the diary, and the pages are yellowed, filled with neat, precise handwriting, the same looping script I recognized in the envelope. It's her handwriting. Every word is intimate, every sentence a whisper from the past. I read the first line: "To the one who finds this, know that my choices were never easy." A shiver runs down my spine. This is not just a diary. It's a confession, a map of her hidden fears, her regrets, her joys, and the betrayals she endured. As I turn the pages, I discover entries about people I have never met, places I have never visited, and moments that shaped the woman I married but were concealed from me for reasons I do not yet understand. One entry catches my eye. She writes of a decision that changed her life, a choice to leave behind someone she loved, someone dangerous, and start anew. The words are filled with anguish, but also with resolve. I realize she has lived with this burden silently for years, protecting me from knowledge that might have destroyed us or even endangered our lives. The diary also contains cryptic notes, coded phrases that match the symbols in the letter and the photograph. Each one seems like a puzzle, a breadcrumb trail meant to guide me deeper into her past, but only if I am careful, only if I am observant. My pulse quickens. This is no ordinary diary. It is a guide, a warning, and a confession all at once. I pause, my fingers resting on a page that details a betrayal she endured at the hands of someone she trusted implicitly. The entry ends abruptly, the ink smudged as if she had cried over it. I feel a pang of empathy mixed with a creeping fear. The past she has hidden is alive, palpable, and possibly dangerous. I hear the soft creak of the floorboards behind me and glance over my shoulder, expecting her, but the house is empty. Silence has a weight of its own tonight, a tension that presses against my chest. I realize that with each discovery, each page, I read the world I thought I knew, the safe, familiar life we shared is shifting, bending under the gravity of her hidden truths. I close the diary gently, almost reverently, and hold it against my chest. The perfume lingers faintly, the texture familiar yet intimate, and I realize that every secret she has kept, every silent year, was a measure of love and fear intertwined. I'm filled with a conflicting rush of admiration and unease. As I sit in the quiet, the candlelight flickering shadows across the room, I whisper to myself, and that was only the beginning. The diary feels heavy in my hands as if each page carries the weight of the secrets it holds. I turn slowly, almost cautiously, until I reach an entry dated years before we met, a day that changed her life forever. The words are jagged, emotional, yet precise. She writes of someone she trusted completely, someone who promised loyalty and love but betrayed her in the cruelest way imaginable. I feel a pang of empathy mixed with anger. Who could have hurt her so profoundly? The diary doesn't name him directly, but the context is unmistakable. Business betrayal and deception that left her vulnerable, isolated, and forced to make choices she would later hide from everyone, including me. She recounts nights of worry letters that never reached the right hands, and promises broken in ways that left scars deeper than any visible wound. I sense her pain in every line, her trembling hand in every smudge of ink. And then the words that cut the deepest: I left everything behind to survive, knowing that anyone I trusted could destroy me. I realize now why she never told me. This betrayal shaped her entirely. Every decision, every secret, every hesitation, it all traces back to this single pivotal moment in her past. And suddenly the photograph, the envelope, the hidden address, they're not just mysteries. They're fragments of a life she had to protect, fragments she has entrusted to me now. A shiver runs through me. If someone betrayed her so completely once, who's to say the danger hasn't followed her? The visitor, the cryptic letters, even the symbols. They could all be warnings, echoes of enemies she never mentioned. My chest tightens. Fear mixes with resolve. I need to understand her past fully, if only to protect her, and perhaps myself. I notice a faint stain on the page, a blot of ink that looks almost like a tear. She has been hiding this burden silently, carrying the weight alone for years, shaping her choices to safeguard those she loves. My mind races how many other betrayals are hidden in these pages, unspoken, waiting to surface. I set the diary down gently, almost reverently. I feel both closer and farther from her at the same time. Closer because I now see the depth of her courage and resilience. Farther because I realize how little I truly knew about the life she lived before me. The woman I thought I understood is far more complex and far more dangerous than I ever imagined. The room is silent, except for the ticking clock. The ordinary sound now feels like a reminder. Time moves on, but the past does not fade. It waits, lingering, pressing against the present, threatening to unravel the life we have built. I glance at the envelope and photograph still on the table, realizing that the journey has only begun. I take a deep breath, steadying myself, and whisper into the shadows. And that was only the beginning. As I linger over the diary, my eyes catch something I hadn't noticed before: a sequence of numbers and letters scribbled in the margin of one page. At first glance, it seems random, like the careless doodle of someone lost in thought. But the closer I examine it, the more deliberate it appears. There's a rhythm to the characters, a pattern that feels purposeful, like a message meant only for someone who would recognize it. I lean closer, my fingers trembling as I trace the characters. A shiver runs down my spine. Could this be another clue, another breadcrumb from her hidden past? My mind races with possibilities. Is it a code, a cipher, a location, or perhaps a date? The weight of the diary in my hand suddenly feels heavier, charged with secrets I cannot yet comprehend. I glance at the photograph again, comparing details with the scribbled sequence. Could the numbers correspond to a street number, a room, or even a locker? My pulse quickens. Every instinct tells me that this is intentional, a deliberate challenge from her past self. Someone, perhaps even my wife, wants me to solve this puzzle, to step closer to truths she once kept hidden. I pull out a notebook and start jotting down possibilities, trying to connect the letters with the numbers, the diary with the photograph, the envelope with the hidden address. Hours pass as I scribble, erase, and cross-reference, each small breakthrough tinged with excitement and dread. There is a method to this chaos, I realize, but I'm only beginning to see it. A soft creak from upstairs startles me. The ordinary sounds of the house now feel laden with threat. Shadows stretch across the walls, and every flicker of candlelight seems to pulse in sync with my rising heartbeat. I feel as if the past itself is watching, waiting for me to act, for me to uncover what has been hidden for so long. Then it hits me: one particular sequence aligns with the address she left in the letter. A specific series of letters and numbers seems to match the town, the street, and even a particular building. My stomach twists. This is no longer abstract, it's a map, a key to unlocking the next layer of her secret life. I glance toward the kitchen where my wife is quietly sipping her tea. She doesn't move. She doesn't speak. Yet somehow I sense that she knows exactly what I have discovered. Her calm demeanor is unnerving. Is she silently guiding me, or is this a trap she's orchestrated from the shadows? I sit back, my eyes fixed on the scribbled code, my mind racing with the possibilities. This is more than a puzzle. It's a test, a bridge between her past and the present, and I realize that following it will take me deeper into a world I am only beginning to understand. Danger, betrayal, and revelation lie just beyond the next step. I take a deep breath, feeling the tension coil in my chest, and whisper almost to myself. And that was only the beginning. The house is silent except for the occasional hum of the refrigerator and the distant chirping of crickets outside. I sit at the desk, the diary photograph, and the mysterious code spread before me like a battlefield. The clock reads past midnight, but I'm wide awake, my mind consumed with the puzzle that has consumed my life tonight. I cross-reference the numbers and letters from the code with maps, old letters, and the hidden address. Each small connection I make feels like peeling back a layer of her carefully constructed past. A street name here, a building number there, even a faint mention of a shop in one diary entry. It all begins to form a pattern. My pulse quickens. Every discovery feels like stepping closer to a truth that has been waiting for years. I take a sip of cold coffee, the bitter taste grounding me in the present. The ordinary flavor now feels sharp, almost electric, as if it amplifies my awareness. Shadows from the candlelight flicker across the room, and I notice the photograph again. The young woman's eyes seem to watch me, urging me onward silently, warning me that the past is far from finished. Hours pass as I dive deeper. Online archives, old records, town directories, I comb through everything, piecing together the fragments of a life she kept secret. Her courage, her cunning, and the sheer weight of the secrets she carried become clearer with every page. And with clarity comes unease. If she had to hide so much, what else is out there waiting? Who else is involved? I pause to rest my eyes and notice a detail I missed before: a faint watermark on one of the old letters in the diary. A symbol that matches the one on the envelope, the subtle star marking the address. I realize now that she didn't just leave clues, she left a trail. A trail meant for me, but only if I could follow carefully. The realization sends a shiver down my spine. The night stretches on and the house grows colder, quieter. Even the familiar creaks of the floorboards seem heavier, more deliberate. I imagine her walking past, seeing me hunched over the documents, her calm exterior hiding a storm. Did she anticipate this? Did she trust me enough to follow, or is this a test? Finally, a breakthrough. The code points directly to a small office in the town she mentioned in the hidden address. The office, according to the records, once belonged to a company she had ties to long before we met. My stomach tightens. This is no longer just about discovering her past, it is about entering a world she built and left behind, a world that may still hold danger. I lean back, exhaustion pulling at my shoulders, but adrenaline keeps my mind sharp. The ordinary night now feels charged with the weight of discovery and anticipation. Every small detail, the faint perfume from the diary, the soft glow of the candle, the ticking clock reminds me that I'm standing on the edge of something monumental. I close the files and take a deep breath, my hands steadying on the table. I know what I must do next: follow the clues, trace her past, face whatever truths have been hidden from me. And yet, even as determination fills me, a whisper of doubt lingers. What if uncovering these secrets changes everything I know about her and about us? I glance at the photograph one last time before turning off the lamp. The young woman in the picture seems to smile faintly, as if approving my resolve. I whisper into the silence, my voice barely audible. And that was only the beginning. The morning light filters weakly through the curtains, but I feel no comfort in it. After hours of late-night research, my mind is restless, tangled in fragments of her past. I decide to check online, looking for any traces of the people mentioned in the diary and photographs. That's when I stumble upon something strange: two entirely different versions of events told by people who claim to have known her. One account portrays her as meticulous, cautious, and quietly courageous, a woman who protected those she loved, even at great personal risk. The other paints her as reckless, secretive, and manipulative, someone who abandoned others when convenient. The contrast is jarring. How could one person elicit such polarizing narratives? My chest tightens. If these stories are true, how much can I trust what I know or what I think I know about her? I print the articles and accounts, laying them side by side with the diary photograph and coded letter. Every detail conflicts with another. Names, dates, locations, nothing aligns perfectly. And yet there's a pattern emerging, subtle but undeniable. Someone wanted the truth to be fragmented, to be buried under layers of ambiguity. The thought sends a chill down my spine. I imagine her standing nearby, serene in the kitchen, her calm smile masking whatever she's thinking. Did she orchestrate this web of stories to protect me, or is this something left behind before I ever entered her life? Each possibility carries weight and danger. I realize that uncovering the truth may not only reveal her secrets, but also challenge the very foundation of the life we've built together. I sit back and let my mind wander, reconstructing the sequences of events, the photographs, the hidden address, the diary, the code, and now the conflicting stories. Each piece seems designed to test me, to measure my resolve, and to reveal who I am when faced with the uncertainty of the woman I thought I knew. The moral weight presses down on me. How far should I go? Is it right to dig into a past she chose to conceal? Or is this my responsibility, given that the consequences may affect both of our futures? My hands shake slightly as I fold the printed accounts, realizing that truth is not simple and that uncovering it may bring as much danger as clarity. A subtle knock on the door makes me flinch. Could it be someone connected to these conflicting stories? Someone who wants to see if I'm delving too deeply? Or perhaps it's just a delivery, but the suspense lingers. The ordinary rhythm of life feels distorted, as if the world itself is waiting for the next move in this unfolding puzzle. I glance at the diary, the photographs, and the letter one last time before gathering them carefully. I feel a creeping sense of urgency. The conflicting stories are more than contradictions. They are warnings, fragments of hidden truths that may converge in unexpected ways. And I know deep in my chest that whatever happens next will demand courage, clarity, and perhaps a willingness to confront not just her past, but the secrets I have yet to uncover within our shared life. I take a deep breath, feeling both fear and determination tighten around me, and whisper to the quiet house. And that was only the beginning. The envelope of letters rests heavily in my hands, yellowed with age and sealed with faint traces of wax. Each one is addressed in handwriting that I recognize immediately hers, but the dates predate our marriage by years, some even decades. My chest tightens as I carefully unfold the first letter, the paper crackling like dry leaves. The words are tender, intimate, and yet tinged with sorrow. She speaks of a love that was forbidden, complicated, and fraught with danger. The letters reveal moments I've never known, secret meetings, whispered promises, and decisions she made to protect herself from someone she trusted too deeply. A betrayal that cut her life in two is etched into each carefully chosen word. I feel an ache, not just for her, but for the part of her I never knew existed. My wife, the woman I've lived with for 15 years, is more than I imagined. These letters are not merely love letters. They are a window into a life shaped by choices, sacrifices, and fear. My heart pounds as I realize how carefully she has hidden this, how delicately she balanced her past with the life we share. I notice a recurring motif in the letters, a small star drawn in the margins, identical to the symbol on the envelope in the diary code. It seems she wanted me to see these connections, to trace the thread between her past and our present. Each letter is a breadcrumb leading me closer to understanding the life she kept secret. A sudden wave of betrayal hits me. If she carried all this, all these memories and experiences, and never told me, was it love that made her silent, or fear, or both? The line between protection and deception blurs. I realize that uncovering her past may change the foundation of our marriage, challenging the trust and intimacy I have always taken for granted. I sit back and hold the letters to my chest, inhaling faint traces of perfume and ink. Ordinary objects, letters, paper, penmanship, are transformed into keys, unlocking a narrative I am only beginning to comprehend. Each word pulses with significance, revealing a side of her that is both beautiful and dangerous. The clock ticks relentlessly in the background. Each moment I spend examining these letters feels like crossing into forbidden territory, stepping closer to truths that may not be safe to uncover. And yet the pull of curiosity is irresistible. I cannot stop. I must know. I glance toward the kitchen. She is there, calm, serene, almost casual in her movements, unaware or carefully pretending not to notice the chaos her past has stirred in me tonight. I feel a mix of admiration, fear, and a deep longing to understand the woman I married. I place the letters carefully in a drawer, knowing I will return to them. Each one is a puzzle a fragment of a life that has remained hidden, and yet each is essential to understanding the whole. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of anticipation, the thrill of discovery, and the creeping fear of what may come next. And once again, I whisper into the stillness of the night, and that was only the beginning. The next morning, the envelope and diary are still spread across the table. I can feel the weight of her secrets pressing down on me like a storm cloud. But then tucked inside the diary, I find something I hadn't noticed before, a single folded note, small and fragile with barely legible handwriting. My pulse quickens. It reads, "Trust no one completely. There are those who will stop at nothing to uncover what you now know. Be careful." A chill runs through me. Her past is not just hidden, it's dangerous. Someone perhaps from decades ago is still watching, waiting. I glance around the house, the ordinary surroundings suddenly thick with tension. The familiar furniture, the walls we painted together, even the coffee cup on the counter, everything seems charged with an unseen threat. I pick up the diary and the letters again, tracing the connections between the photographs. The hidden address, the cryptic codes, and now this warning. A pattern emerges. Someone has orchestrated these clues deliberately, but to what end, and why leave me alone to discover them? My chest tightens with unease. The visitor from the previous night, the photographs, the hidden address, they all feel like part of a carefully constructed chain leading me towards something inevitable. And this note confirms it. The past is not dead. It is alive, lurking in shadows, and ready to intrude upon the present. I feel a wave of fear and determination. I cannot ignore this warning. The puzzle is no longer just about understanding my wife's past. It's about survival, trust, and navigating dangers I cannot yet see. My hands tremble slightly as I fold the note and place it in my pocket. This is more than a story. It is a test of courage, patience, and wits. I glance at the photograph again. The young woman's eyes seem to warn me, mirroring the note's message: caution, but perseverance. The ordinary objects, letters, diary, photograph have become tools and guides, but also reminders of unseen dangers. I realize that uncovering her past will demand more than curiosity. It will demand vigilance. The warning lingers in my mind, a shadow stretching over every next step I take. I feel the tension coil tighter in my chest, the air thick with anticipation. I stand pacing slowly, considering the implications. Who is watching? Who could possibly want to manipulate or harm us? And most importantly, what truths are so dangerous that they have remained hidden for decades? The ordinary house feels alien now, each corner a potential threat, each shadow a harbinger of secrets yet to surface. And yet, despite the fear, I feel an undeniable pull, a need to confront the past, to uncover the truths, and to understand the woman I married more fully than ever. I exhale slowly, steadying my racing thoughts, and whisper almost as a vow. And that was only the beginning. The cryptic warning lingers in my mind as I dig deeper into her past. Every letter, every diary entry, every photograph is a puzzle piece. But now I stumble upon something tangible, almost shocking, a series of financial statements hidden in a locked drawer in her study. Ordinary at first glance, but the numbers tell a story far beyond our ordinary life. I unlock the drawer, my hands trembling slightly, and pull out a stack of statements and small, neatly folded documents. One document catches my eye, an account under her maiden name with a balance that seems almost unbelievable. My breath catches. She had been keeping a fortune from me, hidden for years. It isn't just money, it's a symbol of the power. She has quietly accumulated a life carefully safeguarded. The account includes investments, property, even offshore holdings. The numbers are precise, meticulous, reflecting a mind that planned carefully, silently, without seeking recognition or approval. My chest tightens. 15 years of marriage and I never knew. I feel a flash of betrayal. Was this hidden wealth meant to protect us, or to shield her from threats I'm only beginning to understand? And why now, after all these years, are these secrets surfacing? My mind races with questions. Who else knows about this? Could this be the reason her past is so dangerous? I take a deep breath and scan the statements again. Every transaction, every detail tells a story of a woman who had to fight for security in ways I could never imagine. Ordinary bank documents now feel like keys to understanding her resilience, her fear, and the layers of secrecy that have defined her life. A sudden thought strikes me. The hidden address, the cryptic code, the letters, all of these may be connected to this fortune. Perhaps someone from her past tried to access it, prompting her to leave breadcrumbs for me. The stakes are no longer just emotional, they are financial, dangerous, and potentially explosive. I glance toward the kitchen. She is there, quietly sipping her tea, serene as ever. The thought that she has carried this alone, planning for protection or perhaps for leverage, fills me with awe, but also with unease. How much of our life together has been shaped by the shadows of this hidden power? The ordinary house feels charged now. Every corner, every object, every sound carries the tension of discovery. The letters, diary, and photographs have led me to this moment. The hidden wealth, once invisible, is now a tangible proof of a life I never fully understood, and a life that may carry consequences I cannot yet predict. I sit back, the statements spread before me, and feel the weight of responsibility pressing on my shoulders. This is more than money. It's control, protection, and perhaps the key to understanding the woman I thought I knew. And yet with power comes danger. Someone from her past could be watching, waiting for a chance to claim it or to hurt us. I fold the documents carefully and whisper into the silence of the room, a mix of awe and apprehension in my voice. And that was only the beginning. I can no longer sit in silence. The diary letters, cryptic code, and hidden bank account all weigh on me like a storm gathering strength. I hear her footsteps in the kitchen, the familiar rhythm that once brought comfort now sharpening my resolve. It's time to confront her. "Why didn't you tell me?" I ask quietly, my voice trembling slightly, despite my attempt at calm. She freezes, placing her teacup on the counter, her expression unreadable. For a moment, the woman I married, the one I thought I knew inside and out, feels like a stranger. She sighs softly, a sound filled with a mix of resignation and sorrow. "There are things I could never explain," she says. Her calmness is unnerving. "Things I wanted to protect you from, and from them." I hold up the letters and the statements from the hidden bank account. "All of this? You kept all of this from me?" My voice rises slightly, the tension in my chest spilling into words. 15 years, and not a word. Her eyes glimmer with something I can't immediately read. Regret, fear, defiance. She doesn't look away. "I did what I had to do," she says softly. "I had enemies, and I had a life that could have destroyed both of us if it had been exposed. Every secret was meant to keep us safe." I pace the room, the weight of betrayal pressing against me. Part of me wants to scream, demand explanations, demand apologies. Another part, the part that has followed the breadcrumbs, solved the code, traced the letters, understands. She has carried burdens I cannot begin to imagine. But the tension is undeniable. Trust feels fragile now, like glass ready to shatter. I glance at the photograph again, the young woman staring back at me with guarded eyes. Was this the real her? Or was the woman I married a carefully constructed mask shaped by fear and necessity? Every piece of her past seems to collide with the present, and I feel caught in the middle of something far larger than myself. She steps closer, her voice gentle but firm. "You followed the clues," she says. "You've seen what I've tried to hide. I can't stop you from uncovering the truth now, but you must understand, some of it is dangerous. Some of it could change everything between us." I stop pacing and look at her, feeling a mixture of fear, awe, and a deep, undeniable love. The woman before me has lived through betrayals, threats, and secrets that would have crushed most people. Yet she stands here calm, composed, yet vulnerable in ways only I now begin to understand. The ordinary living room filled with the morning light seems transformed. The letters, the diary, the photographs, they are no longer objects. They are witnesses to her past, guardians of truths and reminders of the danger that still lingers. The emotional stakes are higher than ever. Trust, love, fear, and the unknown all tangled together in a fragile thread. I take a deep breath and sit down across from her. I need to know everything I say quietly, the resolve in my voice steadier now. No more secrets, not if we're going to face this together. She nods slowly, her eyes glistening with unspoken emotion. "Very well," she says. "But know this, what you are about to learn may change everything, and it will not be easy." I feel a shiver run down my spine, a mixture of dread and anticipation. The journey I began with a simple envelope, a photograph, and a letter has led me here, the confrontation, the truth waiting to be revealed, in the uncharted path ahead. I whisper almost to myself. And that was only the beginning. After our confrontation, the house feels charged with a tense quiet. I can still hear her soft breathing in the kitchen, the ordinary rhythm of her movements now weighted with unspoken truths. I returned to the study, drawn to the locked drawer where I discovered the hidden bank statements. There, beneath the neatly stacked papers, I find something new, a set of documents that immediately sends chills down my spine. The papers are official-looking legal forms, identification contracts, but something about them feels off. As I inspect them, my stomach twists. Names have been altered, dates rewritten, signatures forged. It's a deliberate reconstruction of identity, a rewriting of her past carefully crafted to shield her from someone or something. My hands tremble as I realize the implications. These are not just minor alterations, they suggest a life carefully concealed, a reality meticulously disguised. She didn't just hide wealth or letters, she forged an entirely new identity to protect herself and perhaps me. Betrayal and admiration collide in my chest. How much courage and how much fear went into this elaborate deception. I notice a small stamp on one document, a faint seal from a city far from where we live, a place I've never visited. My pulse quickens. Every alteration, every forgery is a breadcrumb, a shield, a warning. Someone from her past must have posed a threat significant enough to require this level of precaution. The ordinary paper in my hands now feels like a map to a hidden world. Each document tells a story of survival strategy and careful calculation. I realize that the woman I married, the one I trusted completely, has lived with secrets that could change everything if revealed too soon or to the wrong person. I place the documents side by side with the diary, letters, and photographs. Patterns emerge, repeated locations, recurring names, even subtle symbols that appear across multiple items. It is as if she has left a trail of evidence not only to guide me, but to prepare me to test whether I am ready to step fully into the truth of her life. A cold thought creeps in. If she went to such lengths to protect herself, who else knows these secrets? Who might come after us now that I am following her breadcrumbs? The ordinary walls of our home, the familiar furniture, the soft hum of the refrigerator, they all suddenly feel fragile, vulnerable, and loaded with potential danger. I take a deep breath, steadying my shaking hands. Despite the fear and the tension, a sense of awe creeps in. This is a woman of remarkable courage, intelligence, and resilience. Each forgery, each altered document is evidence of her strength, her determination to survive, and her careful orchestration of a past that could have destroyed her or us. I glance toward the kitchen. She's quietly moving about, calm as ever, but I know she feels the weight of discovery as acutely as I do. The ordinary house, the ordinary life we share, is no longer ordinary. It is a stage where secrets, danger, and truths collide. I gather the forged documents, placing them carefully next to the diary and letters, feeling the gravity of what I now hold. This is more than a discovery. It is a revelation, a test, and a warning. Whoever she was, whoever she protected herself from, is part of a world I am only beginning to see. I exhale slowly, the tension in my chest easing just enough to think clearly, and I whisper almost reverently, and that was only the beginning. The knock on the door comes late in the afternoon, sharp and insistent, breaking the fragile calm of our home. I freeze my hands, clutching the forged documents, the diary and letters. Every nerve in my body screams that this is not a casual visitor. I open the door slowly, heart hammering, and there he is, a man in his early 50s, impeccably dressed, but with a look in his eyes that makes my stomach twist, cold, calculating, familiar. And then I recognize him, the man from her past, the one hinted at in the diary, the letters and the forged documents. My pulse accelerates. The threat is real. "I've been looking for you," he says, his voice smooth but edged with menace. He glances past me at the woman standing quietly behind me, calm yet alert. "And now that I've found you both, things will finally be settled." The room feels smaller, tighter, as if the walls themselves are closing in. Every ordinary detail, the coffee table, the sofa, the framed wedding photographs, feels charged with tension. This is no longer about hidden letters or bank accounts. This is about danger, about someone who will stop at nothing to reclaim what he believes belongs to him. I glance at my wife. Her calm expression belies the storm I know she carries inside. For a brief moment, I understand the weight of all the secrets she kept. She protected us from him, from this man who betrayed her years ago, from the life she had to leave behind. Now that past has found us again. He steps closer and I feel the cold edge of fear prickling at my skin. "You thought you could hide from me," he says, his eyes flicking over the diary and the documents in my hands. "But the past doesn't stay buried forever, and I will have what's mine." My mind races. I think of the letters, the photograph, the hidden bank account, the forged documents, all the breadcrumbs she left behind to guide me, prepare me. Every clue, every secret was a warning, and now the warning has arrived in human form standing at our doorstep. I step protectively in front of her, my hands trembling, but my resolve firm. "You will not threaten us?" I say, my voice steadier than I feel. "Whatever happened in the past, it stays in the past. You're not taking anything from us." He smirks, unfazed, and I realize the danger is not just financial, not just emotional. It is physical, real, and imminent. The ordinary home, the ordinary life is shattered in an instant. Shadows stretch across the walls as the afternoon sun fades, highlighting the tense standoff. She steps beside me, her presence calm, yet commanding. "You underestimate me," she says softly, her eyes locking on his. "I'm not the same person you left behind, and you will not touch what I've built, what I've protected." The man falters just slightly, but I can see the calculation in his eyes. He knows we are no longer vulnerable in the way we were years ago, and yet the threat remains looming, palpable and dangerous. I take a deep breath, my heart still racing, and feel the weight of the past pressing down on us. This is no longer just about hidden letters, secret accounts, or cryptic codes. This is confrontation, this is truth, and this is danger made real. I glance at my wife, her hand brushing lightly against mine, and whisper softly, "And that was only the beginning." The man's shadow stretches across the living room, tense and imposing. But my wife doesn't flinch. Instead, she moves with a precision I have never fully appreciated. Something in her stance, the calm in her eyes, the way she assesses him suddenly, I understand she is not helpless. She never was. "You think you can intimidate us?" she asks softly, her voice steady, measured. "You have no idea who you're dealing with." I glance at her, astonished. She steps closer to him, confident, almost fearless. Then she reveals something I never knew, a set of skills honed long before our marriage. Her hands move swiftly, retrieving a small device from a drawer I had overlooked countless times. It's subtle, almost ordinary, yet in her hands it becomes powerful. She manipulates it with precision, and I realize it's a tool she uses to secure her privacy and protect herself. The man falters, caught off guard. I feel a surge of admiration and relief. This is the woman I married, the one I trusted yet never fully knew. The letters, the diary, the hidden bank account, the cryptic codes. They were all tools in her arsenal, fragments of a life built on resilience and preparation. And now those talents are saving us in real time. She speaks again, her voice calm but commanding. "You've underestimated the years I spent protecting myself and everyone I care about. That ends tonight." Her eyes lock on his, unwavering. I can feel the tension in the room shift. What once seemed like a dangerous, uncontrollable threat now feels manageable, tempered by her expertise and strategy. Every ordinary object in the house, the furniture, the photographs, even the letters, suddenly feels like part of a carefully prepared environment, one she can manipulate and control to our advantage. I realize for the first time the extent of her foresight. Each secret, each hidden talent, each carefully concealed truth was not merely for her own protection, it was also a shield for me, for us. My chest swells with a mix of awe, love, and deep gratitude. The man hesitates, realizing he miscalculated. For decades, he may have thought her vulnerable, but now he sees a force he cannot easily dominate. Every skill she possesses, every lesson learned from betrayal and secrecy has converged into this moment. I step closer, emboldened by her strength, feeling that I too can face the danger with her. The ordinary living room, the house we built together, becomes a battlefield of strategy, intelligence, and courage. Her hidden talents illuminate the shadows of the past, giving us the edge we need to navigate the threats that have suddenly emerged. As I watch her calm yet powerful, I feel the weight of her secrets transform from burden into protection. The past, the betrayals, the danger, they are no longer just threats. They are lessons, weapons, and shields. And in that moment, I understand that the woman I married is far stronger than I ever imagined. I exhale slowly, a mixture of awe and reassurance washing over me, and whisper once more. And that was only the beginning. Just as the tension in the room reaches its peak, the front door bursts open. I instinctively move to protect my wife, but it isn't the antagonist who steps inside, it's someone entirely unexpected. A man in his 40s, calm and confident, carrying an air of authority and familiarity with the situation. "You might need some help," he says, his voice steady, almost reassuring. He glances at the antagonist, who visibly stiffens at the sight of him. There's an unspoken history here, one that immediately sets my nerves on edge. I exchange a quick, uncertain look with my wife. She doesn't speak, but her slight nod tells me she trusts this man. That alone shocks me. How many allies does she have that I never knew about? How deep does this network of protection go? The ally moves with precise efficiency. In seconds, he blocks the antagonist's path, positioning himself strategically. "Step back," he says firmly. "You're not getting what you came for tonight." The man from her past hesitates, uncertainty flickering across his cold face. I can feel the atmosphere shift. The ordinary living room, once a place of comfort and familiarity, is now a tactical battlefield. But with the unexpected ally's presence, the odds begin to tilt in our favor. Every ordinary object around us, the chairs, the tables, even the doors, suddenly becomes part of the strategy tools for protection rather than mere furniture. The ally's calm confidence reveals experience and knowledge. He knows who the antagonist is, what he wants, and the potential danger lurking in the shadows. I realize that my wife's past, though concealed from me for years, included relationships and connections forged in the crucible of threats and survival. These allies are part of the reason she endured. He gestures toward me. "Stay close to her. Trust me, we'll get through this together." I feel a mixture of relief and disbelief. Ordinary fear now transforms into cautious optimism, reinforced by the presence of someone who understands the stakes and knows the path forward. The antagonist takes a step back, reassessing the situation. The ally's presence is a silent declaration: we are not alone. Every secret my wife kept, every hidden skill she mastered now finds support in an external force. It's as if the past and present are converging, forming a network of strength, strategy, and vigilance. I glance at my wife, her calm expression, steady even as her eyes reveal subtle gratitude. The ordinary home is now a fortress, each of us armed with knowledge, skill, and unexpected support. For the first time, I sense that we might survive this, not just endure it. I take a deep breath, feeling the tension ease slightly while the threat remains, and whisper into the charged silence. And that was only the beginning. The ally's presence brings a fleeting sense of security, but the air in the house is still thick with tension. My wife moves silently toward the hallway, her eyes scanning the walls, the ordinary doors, and the corners of our home. She pauses before the large wardrobe near the staircase, a place I had always considered just a practical storage space. But now under her gaze, it feels like something more. "Wait here," she whispers to me, her voice calm but commanding. I obey, heart pounding, clutching the diary and letters against my chest. The ally follows, her eyes alert, sensing the weight of what is about to unfold. With a subtle movement, she presses against the back panel of the wardrobe. A soft click echoes in the silent house. The panel swings open to reveal a narrow passage hidden in plain sight. My breath catches. The ordinary wardrobe, a mundane piece of furniture I had never questioned, has concealed a secret room, a private space where she stored artifacts of her past. I follow cautiously, peering into the dimly lit space. Dust motes float in the air, illuminated by a single overhead bulb. Shelves line the walls, filled with boxes, files, and objects that seem mundane, but now carry the weight of secrecy. Photographs, documents, letters, and even personal items she never mentioned, all meticulously organized. My eyes fall on a file labeled with a symbol I recognize from the diary, the subtle star marking repeated across letters and documents. My pulse quickens. Each item here is a piece of a puzzle I've been trying to solve for weeks, a tangible record of the life she kept hidden. The ordinary home transforms into a museum of secrets, a private archive of survival, power, and caution. I reach for a photograph tucked into a box. It shows her standing with a group of strangers, serious expressions in a setting that feels almost like a clandestine meeting. Another file contains documents that suggest legal battles, hidden transactions, and threats, evidence that her past was not only complex, but dangerous. The ally steps closer, whispering, "This confirms everything she warned you about. Her past is intricate, and there are still threads you haven't traced." I nod, overwhelmed by the sheer depth of the discovery. The hidden room is more than storage. It is a testament to the careful planning, foresight, and resilience that shaped the woman I married. My wife steps beside me, calm yet resolute. "This room," she says softly, "is where I kept everything safe, everything that could hurt us if it fell into the wrong hands." Her eyes meet mine, a mixture of vulnerability and strength. "And now you understand why I had to hide so much." The ordinary house, the walls, the furniture, the familiar rooms now feels like a labyrinth, each corner potentially holding another secret. The tension is almost unbearable, yet the revelation brings clarity. The hidden room connects every clue: the diary, letters, code, bank account, and forged documents, all part of a life meticulously concealed to protect us. I exhale slowly, the weight of discovery pressing on me, and whisper almost reverently, And that was only the beginning. I step into the hidden room again, my hands brushing over the files, letters, and photographs. Among them, I find a folder marked with her initials in careful handwriting. It is thinner than the others, almost fragile, as if it holds something too delicate to be weighed down with the rest of her secrets. My heart tightens. I open it carefully and see the truth laid bare. Medical records, legal papers, and personal letters, all detailing a life she endured silently, a pain she carried alone. She had been protecting not just herself, but a child from a previous relationship, a child I never knew existed. My chest feels heavy. 15 years of marriage, countless shared moments, and I never suspected this hidden chapter of her life. The letters reveal her fear, the sacrifices she made to ensure that the child remained safe, hidden from a father who was dangerous and relentless. Every choice, every secret, every forged document, every hidden bank account was a shield, a protective measure designed to safeguard innocent life. I feel a rush of admiration and sorrow. The woman I married endured betrayal, threats, and loneliness, carrying burdens far heavier than I could imagine. And yet she did it quietly, without complaint, without drawing attention to herself. She had built a fortress of secrecy around the life she loved, ensuring our safety even at the cost of emotional transparency. Tears blur my vision as I read her words. I cannot risk losing them again. I cannot let the mistakes of the past destroy what I have now. I love him, and I protect him in every way I can, even if it means hiding from the truth. The love, the fear, the strength, they are all intertwined, forming a narrative that is both heartbreaking and awe-inspiring. I glance at the photographs again, the young woman from the bench. The letters, the hidden bank accounts, the code, they all connect to this child, this life she has been protecting. Every secret, every act of deception was not selfish, but an act of profound courage and love. My wife appears behind me, quiet, watching. I can see the vulnerability in her eyes, the silent plea for understanding. "Now you know," she whispers. "This is why I had to hide so much, not to deceive you, but to protect everything we hold dear." I step closer, placing my hand over hers, feeling the warmth and the weight of the years of secrecy and sacrifice. The room, the ordinary home, the hidden letters, all of it converges in this moment of understanding. The heartbreak of her past is undeniable, but so is the love and bravery that carried her through it. I take a deep breath, letting the magnitude of the truth settle over me. The tension, the danger, the betrayals, they all make sense now, connected by a thread of protection, love, and survival. The ordinary life we built together is no longer ordinary. It is layered with courage and quiet heroism. I whisper softly, almost reverently. And that was only the beginning. The quiet of the evening feels fragile now, as if every shadow in the house could hide unseen eyes. The revelations from the hidden room, the letters, the diary, and the heartbreaking truth weigh heavily on my mind. But they also sharpen my awareness. Danger is no longer abstract. It is real, lingering just beyond the walls of our home. A sudden sound from outside, a scraping noise at the back door, makes me freeze. My pulse races, and I instinctively reach for my wife's hand. She is calm, but I can see the tension in her eyes, a reflection of the battles she fought long before I entered her life. This is not the first threat, and it will not be the last. I glance at the ally who helped us before. He's already moving, positioning himself near the windows, his gaze scanning the shadows. Together we form a silent, tense barrier between safety and the unknown. Every ordinary object in the house, the chairs, tables, even the lamps, now feels like part of a strategic environment, a protective grid crafted by her foresight and experience. The sound repeats closer now, deliberate. My stomach twists. Someone knows we are aware. Someone knows that the secrets she has guarded for years are no longer hidden. The past, which we thought safely tucked away, is reaching out to reclaim its power. I look at my wife. Her calm composure hides the calculation running through her mind. I realize that every skill, every hidden talent, every connection we have uncovered is now crucial. The danger is not just theoretical, it is immediate, pressing, unavoidable. A shadow moves near the edge of the yard. I catch a glimpse of a figure familiar from the photographs and letters, someone from her past with motives I cannot yet predict. The tension coils tighter in my chest. The ordinary house, once a place of comfort, now feels like a fortress under siege, each corner a potential threat. She whispers, almost to herself, "They never give up. They never forget." Her voice is calm, but carries a weight of experience. She knows the stakes. I feel a mix of fear and awe. The woman I married is no longer just a partner. She is a strategist, a protector, and a survivor. The ally steps forward, signaling for us to move toward safer areas in the house. The shadows outside lengthen as the evening sun dips lower and the air grows thick with anticipation. Every second feels like a countdown, every sound amplified, every movement significant. I take a deep breath, feeling the tension coil around us, and realize that the battle is not only with past enemies, but with time itself. The secrets she protected, the dangers she anticipated, the strategies she laid, everything converges now in this moment. And we are ready, barely but ready. I glance at her, our hands brushing lightly, a shared understanding passing between us. "We face it together," I whisper. She nods subtly, her calm demeanor unshaken. And in the charged silence of our home, I murmur again. And that was only the beginning. The shadows stretch across the living room, thick and heavy as the night presses down on the house. The danger outside has become palpable, the faint rustle of leaves, the distant click of a gate, the feeling that someone is watching, waiting for the smallest mistake. Every secret, every clue, every hidden object from her past now converges in this one tense moment. I stand in the center of the room, glancing at my wife and the ally who has guided us through the labyrinth of her past. Their eyes meet mine, calm but expectant, as if silently asking, "Are you ready?" Ready to face what must be faced, ready to act, ready to make a choice that could change everything. The choice is clear, yet impossible. Do I protect myself and retreat into ignorance, leaving her past and the danger it carries undisturbed? Or do I step fully into the storm, confront the threats, embrace the secrets, and risk everything for the sake of truth, trust, and love? My chest tightens, fear presses against my ribs, but a steely determination rises alongside it. 15 years of marriage, countless shared moments, and a love forged in trust and understanding. This cannot be abandoned, not now, not ever. I glance at her. Her calm demeanor, the quiet confidence, the hidden strength I have only just begun to appreciate it all, compels me forward. I realize that this choice is not only about survival, but about faith in her, in us, and in the life we have built together. I take a deep breath, feeling the tension coil tighter with every second. The ordinary living room with its furniture, photographs, and hidden rooms is transformed into a stage for a pivotal moment. Every object, every shadow, every sound matters. The past is here present and unyielding, and my decision will determine our future. I step forward resolute. "We face it," I say firmly, my voice steady, carrying the weight of commitment. Together, no secrets, no hiding, we confront it all. Her eyes glimmer with pride and relief, and the ally nods subtly. The threat outside, once looming and ominous, now seems surmountable, not because it has lessened, but because we have chosen to stand firm to face the consequences of a life revealed. The man from her past, our unseen adversary, is still out there, but I feel a shift in the tension. The ordinary house has become a fortress of courage and strategy. The secrets that once seemed to weigh us down are now tools of empowerment. Every discovery, every hidden talent, every piece of evidence prepared us for this exact moment. I glance at the photograph, the letters, the diary, the forged documents, and the hidden bank account, all symbols of her courage and foresight. And I understand that our ultimate choice is not just about confronting danger. It is about embracing the truth of her life, the totality of who she is, and the unbreakable bond we share. I exhale slowly, feeling the decision settle within me. The night is still fraught with danger, the shadows still thick, but we are ready, prepared, united. I turn to my wife, taking her hand in mine, and whisper softly, almost reverently. And that was only the beginning. The first light of dawn filters through the windows, softening the shadows that had haunted the house all night. The danger that once pressed so heavily against the walls has retreated for now, though I know it is never truly gone. What remains is clarity, understanding, and a profound sense of connection with the woman I thought I knew and now understand more fully than ever. We stand together in the living room, the ally quietly watching from the side. The letters, diary, photographs, forged documents, and hidden bank account are all carefully gathered, now evidence not only of her past, but of our journey to face it together. Every secret revealed, every challenge overcome, has brought us to this point, a new beginning, built on truth, trust, and resilience. I glance at my wife. The ordinary woman I married, the one who laughed with me, comforted me, and shared our life, is extraordinary in ways I could never have imagined. Her courage, her intelligence, her foresight, and her sacrifices have shaped our present and protected our future. The hidden past, once a source of tension and fear, is now a testament to her strength and love. The ally nods a subtle acknowledgement that our confrontation with danger has been successful for now. There is relief in the room, but also a sense that life has changed irrevocably. We are no longer simply living a shared life. We are guardians of her hidden world, prepared for any challenge that may emerge. I take a deep breath, letting the weight of the last several days settle. The ordinary house, the familiar rooms, the photographs and letters, they are now symbols of transformation. We have navigated betrayal, danger, and secrets and emerged not broken, but united, stronger, and more connected than ever. My wife places her hand over mine. "Thank you," she whispers, her voice soft but filled with emotion. "For trusting me, for following the path I laid, and for standing by me." I squeeze her hand, feeling the depth of love, trust, and commitment that has been forged through trials that tested us to the core. We sit together in the quiet, the morning light casting a warm glow on the ordinary objects around us. Yet nothing feels ordinary anymore. The letters, diary photographs, and hidden documents remind me that life is layered with secrets and courage, danger and resilience. And while we have reached a measure of safety, I know this journey is ongoing. I glance at the stack of evidence one last time. Each item tells a story of survival, deception, protection, and love. And I realize that while one chapter has ended, the unfolding narrative of our lives, shaped by choices, truths, and courage, continues. I exhale, a mixture of relief, awe, and anticipation filling me. The ordinary life we once knew has transformed into something extraordinary. The secrets that once threatened to tear us apart have become the foundation of a new beginning, a life built on understanding, unity, and resilience. I turn to my wife, a small, genuine smile breaking across my face. She meets my gaze, calm yet radiant, and together we step forward into the unknown, prepared for whatever comes next. And as I whisper once more into the soft morning air, I know it with certainty. And that was only the beginning. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If it touched you, please subscribe and continue with the next story in the playlist.